Good morning, David.
Good morning, Stuart. How are you this morning?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing wonderfully, thank you.
Good. Did you have a good New Year's and New Year's Eve?
I did. It was an awesome time hanging out with some family, some friends. We Yeah, it was good, man. It was good. I'm excited about the time that you and I spent together last week, and some of the things we're going to talk about today. Excited about what 2021 has in store. Excited about our conversation tonight with our other team members, and yeah, man, I'm pumped. Man, I got my snazzy Jolly 22 shirt.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, dang is right.
Mine hasn't come in yet.
No, I think they went through, they saw some of your videos that you posted and probably delayed your shipment because they're like, wow, is that really a burpee? I don't know. Um, but
uh,
that's just what I think probably happened. So I'm
yeah.
sure you'll get it soon.
Did you guys make it to midnight on New Year's Eve for you and the family? Did you guys stay up?
So I actually did because I was doing a bunch of stuff, couldn't turn my brain off. I went and I found out yesterday. I actually went, there was some fireworks. I went and woke up Maya, took her out to the back, wrapped her in a blanket, took her outside, and she apparently she doesn't remember any of it. Didn't I thought I was like, oh, this is a sweet moment with my oldest kid. It's just me and her, and apparently she was like sleepwalking because she's like, Daddy, we never went. I'm like, wow. Literally woke her up, wrapped her in a blanket, went outside. She's like, I'm cold. So I brought her back in, and she doesn't remember the thing. So very memorable for both of
Yeah.
us.
Nice. That's awesome. We
Yeah, I
found some.
know. I know you did not make it.
No, no, nowhere close. I, I, I mean, I never make it to midnight for
No,
New Year's.
no.
But yeah, we found some like little timer on the internet. It was for like England time, and we did a countdown at 7 p.m. And we rang the bell and bang on some pots and pans, and then I was lights out, man. I was probably, I think I was in the bed 8:30 reading, lights out at 9. It was awesome.
That's good stuff, dude. It's good
Yeah.
stuff. Good for you. Congratulations to you. That's an accomplishment. Yeah, no, we do that every
uh,
year. There's I think, I don't know, Netflix or somebody has some, they have it timed so you could, I think we did ours at like 8:03. Like it wasn't even on the top of the hour, really. Like it wasn't exact. It was
yeah,
fun though. It's a good time.
yeah.
It's a good
Nice,
time.
dude. Well, what are we talking about today? What are we getting into?
Yeah, man, I think today is a great opportunity as we kick off the first podcast of the year to talk about some of the things that we did to wrap up 2020 in order to look forward to 2021, and just the intentionality, the level of effort that um, you and I apply typically towards ensuring that we're looking forward, that we're honoring the, we're setting goals, but more importantly, we're evaluating where we want to be, not just in 2021, but in 2031, and backwards planning on how to achieve some of those big visions. And this year I'm particularly excited. I've been excited every single year since we started the Storehouse, and but this year I'm really excited because I think we spent some significant time and went in a little bit of a different direction than we anticipated. One thing I did miss, uh, I sorely miss this year, is our annual board meeting where we typically go up to the mountains for a day, spend time just fellowship, just having fun, which is honoring our core values, and just hanging out, and cultivating and honoring our friendship, but also spending some of that focused time to really look at some of these things. This year we didn't get to do that with COVID, but we did. I'm sorry to complete that thought, and then we typically would wrap up with a day, day and a half, 2 days. Off in a library, just you and I in a room, talking through some of these things and being very, very intentional with what our goals are and what we're looking forward to. I say goals, it's really going through the Vision Traction Organizer, the VTO, from Traction, and that book that we reference all the time, and that system, and just going through the process. This year, we set up a Zoom call, spent about a day on a Zoom, which again,
Not the
part of
same.
it's not the same, man. Part of the fun is, I think last year we went to, what's that place called? Stinky Tacos, or whatever the heck that place is called.
Stinky tacos.
Willy Wonka's Tacos. I don't even know. You took me to some place, and just the fellowship is often really, really sparks some of the creativity and drives us forward, and we miss out on some of that stuff, but still dedicated and took some very focused time to talk about these things, and we're going to talk through some of that stuff today.
Yeah. 6 hours on Zoom isn't quite the same as going snowboarding at Keystone for a day and then doing some business planning while
Yeah,
on the
not quite,
mountain.
not quite.
Not quite, and going to Stinky Tacos and having some yummy lunch. But
Yeah, it's
soon enough, man. Soon enough, you'll be back here, and we'll do that all the time. So all
yeah.
good, all good. Yeah, man. I think that 6 hours on Zoom. We did our VTO for the year, and um, what what started as we're just going to do another VTO for our business, Storehouse 310 Ventures, really turned out to be more of kind of a bigger VTO, really for just Stu and Dave, because what we kind of saw this year was Storehouse 310 Ventures turned into a lot more than just one business. Turned out to be a lot more than just one turnkey real estate company in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Um, this particular platform, the podcast has grown, and um, man, I've gotten so much value out of it personally, but I think from some of the guests that we've had, that we've learned from, has really opened our eyes to how we operate. Um, I hope and pray that it has brought a ton of value to our listeners. I think it has. We've received some feedback that it's really helped individuals. Um, I think that alone has really kind of changed the way that we have looked at things. Um, there's some things that individually, we talked on our last podcast about, looking at self, shipmate, and ship, and some of the things that we'd focused on, and you know, we still need to do that, right? I think we still need to continue to grow ourselves personally, individually, with our families, with our networks, with our shipmates, to then still drive that ship. And I think that ship, again, is bigger than just Storehouse 310 Ventures.
Yeah, and I think what's really important as we go through these things, you use your VTO to validate the things that you uh, thought were true, or you give an honest assessment and you move forward. And so we initially started the VTO for Storehouse 310, and very quickly realized that for both of us, there's this thing that we've been discussing a lot in this last year, and where we want to be, and what are the, in 10 years, do we want to be, turnkey providers, and we're working in the business and doing, like, that's the main focus. And we realize what we love about Storehouse is it creates opportunities to create relationships. It offers opportunities to our network to jump into real estate and start developing generational wealth and passive income and all these things that we value, that we love, and what Storehouse has become known for, and offer quality, right? These are all things that are very important to us. But as we looked at it, we realized that our core values were validated, which is awesome. I mean, that's what the business was built on. That's what you and I, our partnership was established through not only years, decades of friendship, but from a business perspective, our core values were validated. Our four things of of service giving, integrity, and laughter. So no change there, which is the initial building block, right? It's the first thing you go through. So no changes there, which was very encouraging. But our focus, our 10-year target, our market strategy, our 3-year plan, our 1-year plan, our quarterly rocks, all that stuff changed. And I wouldn't even say it changed. We didn't even get to Storehouse 310.
Yeah.
Right. We didn't even do a VTO, and we feel like Storehouse 310 is on a good path, and we have to refine it. We're going to have a meeting with our team tomorrow, our weekly meeting, and discuss some of the things that, that we were, that we're thinking about, that are on our hearts and our mind for the business. But for Stu and David, we realize that for what we are looking forward to, what we love, the platforms that we're creating, the other businesses we're creating, we have to be very, very intentional, or else, we run the risk of being all over the place, right? We run the risk of not having a focus, and then ultimately you can find yourself just having another job because you're not really, you don't have the strategy in mind. You're just focused on the tactics, and maybe you jump into operations, but the strategy is where we want to be at the strategic level, thinking about our futures, the businesses, and where we want to go. And so I think this time was really, really useful because it helped us to put on paper the things that we're most passionate about and how those are fed through the businesses that we're starting. And the thing we're most passionate about is leadership and giving, right? Like we want to create platforms for thought leadership. We want to offer practical leadership. Like that's what we like to do. I mean, we've been naval officers for almost 20 years now, and we enjoy it. We love it. We obviously wouldn't have dedicated the last 20 years to doing this if we didn't enjoy it. And then giving is paramount to everything that we do, right? Personally and within the business. So I think that the point to all that is we didn't intend to do a VTO for Stu and David, but to our listeners out there, again, this is an iterative process that we came into it knowing that we were not completely content in the direction we were headed. And you have to sit back, you have to analyze that stuff. You have to take stock of the previous year, like we did with the last podcast. You have to set time aside and be very intentional and look forward to the future, and then plan that stuff out and look at what's most important and look at the 10-year goal. And are you on the path for a 10-year goal? We were not. I mean, we weren't. From the perspective of looking at where our focus and our efforts lie, we were not focused on the 10-year goal of where we really wanted to be, and realized that we need to change that 10-year goal. And so this process, it works. It's awesome. And who knows at the end of 2021 where we'll be and looking back on. But I'll tell you, there's some very practical steps. And again, this can't all be in your head, right? Touchy-feely, Stu and Dave, kumbaya, huggy. It can't be that. It has to be, all right, this is where we want to be. What are we going to do? So we're like talking about taking action. I mean, I've got a call scheduled for next week with Bill Militello. I know you're potentially talking to him as well. We're reaching out to, 7-figure flipping leaders and trying to get on their calendars to figure out coaching and mentorship and, no kidding, steps forward to put this place in that, put this stuff into action and be like, okay, we need a better podcast. We do. And we need to be able to take some, because we love the podcast and we want to grow it. Right. So it has to be better. So let's talk to some people that are killing it with podcasts and say, okay, what do we need to do to be better? How are we more influential? How do we get the word out? What are the things we're doing wrong? Does David talk too much? Does Stu make dumb comments? Like, I mean, all those things. And the answer is no and yes. But these are
Speaking
things
of dumb comments, you said kumbaya and huggy.
That's not a dumb comment. Everybody understands huggy, touchy-feely, live up in the clouds. No, man. Unicorns, pooping rainbows.
Yeah.
That's not where you need to live, right? You need to spend some time there. You need to have some of that in your life because it drives that vision and creativity. But you also need focus, and you need action items and steps and how to get there.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I'm really excited about, what 2021 looks like. Is I don't know who the coach is going to be. I don't know where we're going to invest to get better, but it's going to happen, and that person's going to benefit from our dedication to getting better, and we're gonna grow from uh, from the learning and the focus on making ourselves better. And it's not about ourselves; it's about being this platform being the best it can be to offer the highest value possible to all our listeners, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and there's a lot of things that we talked about, still, kind of back to that self-shipmate ship, idea of there's still some things that we need to continue to grow on personally. And, we talked about that as well. I ended up given well, just yesterday on Saturday morning, we talked to the War Room Mastermind. We have our morning monthly webinar, and I did a presentation on um, setting values and creating time and how you kind of time block stuff. And I've kind of been on that journey for you know just probably this entire year. But I kind of think I've not perfected it by any means, but I think I've gotten a lot better over the last couple of months of some of the stuff that we've been learning through our networks and through podcasts and books, and just making just different attempts at certain things. And so I think that both of us will continue to really focus intentionally on uh, how we spend our time, because we are so busy and because we have so many things going on. We still have our full-time W-2 jobs with the Navy, where both of us are in leadership positions that require time, and so we have to really, you know, perfect our schedule on a regular basis and be intentional about putting stuff on the calendar where those core values align. And so for me, that really looked like over the last couple of months, like actually putting stuff on the calendar where it is daily that I have to do it and that aligns directly with my core values. It's not necessarily business. It's not necessarily Storehouse 310 Ventures. It's Stu. It's what's going to make me better as a person individually, and I think that uh, builds on the team and the business if I'm getting that right. So yeah, I think that is a huge thing that we're continuing to focus on.
And I think it goes back to that theme from last week that because I know the best version of Stu, the best version of David is the best contribution to our network, to Storehouse, to our team, and to our businesses ultimately. And really, your presentation on Saturday to the War Room Mastermind group was awesome. And I think what was great about it too is that it's had so many practical steps, right? And just the calendar. So that's something that I need to get way better at too. And I'm super excited about our guest upcoming this week. Nina from Boldly, and just the process that she's developed, and both of us are using that calendar. And I'm not great at it yet, but I know that if I get really good at that, if I get really good at the calendar, I'm going to be much better. I'm going to maximize my time. I'm going to be a better CO for my sailors. I'm going to be a better business owner. Our team will be better, and I'll be a better husband. I'll be a better father. Like all that stuff is better just by simply taking. I say simply. It's simple, but it's difficult.
Yeah.
But if you really set a calendar and you follow it and you put the things that are most important, and it's like we've highlighted before, previous guests, and you highlight on Saturday. You want to know what's important? Look at somebody's calendar and their checkbook. Well, I want someone to be able to take a snapshot of my calendar and be like, wow, okay, this dude is a man of God first and foremost. He is a man of faith, lives his life. It's in his calendar. It's in his calendar. He is a father and a husband. He loves his family, and then he's dedicated to his team, right? And then they pull out my checkbook and be like, wow, this dude loves to give money. He loves to give, and also by the calendar, he loves to give his time to others, but he loves to give money away to the causes that he believes in that are also supported by those whys in his calendar. And and if that's and that's very, very realistic, right? You take a snapshot of your calendar and where you put your effort and where you put your time. um Man, if you're your highest and best, like the other things will thrive,
Yeah.
but you have to do that. It takes a minute. Like even your weekly battle rhythm, right? It takes time to do a brain dump on whatever day you choose, Friday, Sunday. It takes time to put it in your calendar. It takes time to look at your calendar in the morning or sync your calendars up. I mean, all these things take time. And then of course, random things happen that want to steal that time. And you have to be disciplined to say, no, I'm not going to do that. This is what I'm supposed to be doing, and this is a detractor. Or okay, this thing that popped up is super, super important. Like my calendar now has to adjust. But you can't, I know for me, I'm not that organized typically on a daily basis. And a lot of the things that creep up, I make them priorities. And I look back at my calendar, I'm like, wow, well, that wasn't a successful day by any measure. So let's get better tomorrow. And those practical steps of doing that, and there's so many books out there, so many resources, too many, and you get lost just in the analysis.
Yeah.
But sitting down and putting pen to paper, I think is highly, highly important. And this all plays into it, right? Like setting that time aside for us was not easy. Finding a space, especially in COVID, you know, kids interruptions, which is great. I mean, my kid just walked down, and what I should have done, and because it's always on my mind, I should have given him a kiss while we're put it on mute, say good morning. He goes back upstairs. I failed, first thing this morning already. But that being said, it's not easy to do, but you have to give that time to do it. And I think you'll be surprised at what comes out of it. And then you're on that path to making yourself the best that you can be, to then contribute to your shipmate and your overarching business command, whatever it is.
Yeah, man. And that drives individuals within our lives, our family, um, our partners, our team. And I think a big goal of ours, not just this year, but it's always been the case, but we still want to continue to focus on it, is maximizing our partners, maximizing the fellowship that we have with our team, and really challenging all of them to grow with us. And I think a big piece of growing a business is ensuring that they see our vision, and then empower them to align and kind of take their own vision and kind of jump on board with what we're doing. And um, I think that creates a really solid culture within a business, within a company, so that they can achieve their highest and best, and give them the opportunity to do that as well. So I think that we lose that focus sometimes. When we're in the nitty gritty of talking about a certain property and the problems that it's brought. And I remember um, one of our Monday calls with our team at Storehouse. There's some issues going on, and we were kind of like holding each other accountable. And there was something that somebody didn't do, and you could tell that there was tension in the meeting. And then we all kind of took a step back, and Mama G, she was like, you know what? Why don't we just do a quick prayer to end this meeting? And it like kind of changed the entire culture and the environment of the meeting. And I was like, you're right, we should. And so that kind of stuff I think is really cool. And I think that we need to continue to dedicate that uh, time and commitment to empower our team and create that fellowship.
What was cool is that we often put the pressure on ourselves to create that culture and try to drive that, and that wasn't, that was um, Mama G highlighted something that is our culture. It's part of who we are. It's part of the business we've built, and it's part of the team. And they know that because they know exactly who we are because we communicate it all the time, and who they are. Like they were attracted to the business because of who they are. And so when she did that, yeah, I agree. I remember that like it was yesterday, and it was awesome. It was an awesome moment, but it was also very true to the culture that we're trying to build, the culture that they're trying to build, that they foster, and it's huge. And I think what really also drove a lot of the conversation for our VTO was the fact that we want our team to fill these out, and we got one back from one of our team members and realized we're like, hey man, this dude's passions are different um, than the path that we have him on right now, and we have to address that. His passions definitely are very, very beneficial to a business, but they're different than the path that he's currently on and that we have him on, and that's important to highlight. I mean, it's not bad. I actually think it's really good
Yeah.
because you want to put people. It goes back to the bus, the bus analogy, and putting people on the right seat and on the right bus, going the right way, and all that good stuff. And we would not have had that type of insight if it were not for driving our team to focus on these things as well. And so there's a ton of benefit even if you're not running a business. I mean, the VTO is not a bad thing to do to figure out where you want to be and who you want to be, and then putting action items in place to become that person, that business, whatever it is that you're trying to develop. And so I think there's a lot of goodness there.
Yeah, for sure, man. Um, you know, and we've we did a lot this year, man. I'm just kind of thinking about what we did this last year, and how many businesses did we start? Like three or four, three different businesses, I think,
Yeah.
three
Yeah,
different
man.
companies. And we syndicated a mobile home park in Colorado with a different team, and we're excited about that. That's another team and another partnership, and more people to kind of fellowship with, and uh, kind of grow that. I think that's going to be exciting for 2021. I think we're gonna have a meeting tonight with that team, and really kind of nail that out and see what that looks like. And I think for us, just back to that core focus of leadership and giving, and doing that VTO was super important for us this year, because it's not just about Storehouse 310 Ventures. It's we're not solely focused on the nitty gritty of doing turnkey real estate in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, which it's a big part of it for sure. We're not losing focus on that, but um, it's bigger than just that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we may not have, for me personally, the way that I think and deal with things, I probably, if we did not identify these things, put them on paper, I would have just kept going into 2021 uncomfortable, right? I just would have had this sense that something was was not right, or with my focus and my, because I'm very goal driven from the perspective of, okay, I want to highlight these things that we want to achieve, or at least go in the general direction, and take action steps, right? I'm all about the next actionable item. And if you don't have a clear vision of what that 10-year thing looks like, which is where I felt we were personally, at least I was personally, and I was just very uncomfortable because I didn't know if the actions I was taking on a daily basis were driving me towards that ultimate goal of who I want to be, who God created me to be. And spending time and doing this type of thing, I'm pretty pumped about 2021, man. I'm really excited about the businesses moving forward, what we're going to do, what we're going to accomplish, bringing people along. Like the syndication was awesome because it's more opportunities for our network,
Yeah.
and we met some new folks. We're doing additional deals, and it's just a really cool aspect of growing the Storehouse brand, and really the podcast, same thing. Like, love doing this, love our guests, super excited about some of the lineup that we have this upcoming year, and just continue to grow that. I think is ultimately for hopefully max benefit for our listeners and on our network.
Yeah.
And so that's all stuff I'm super excited about, man. Super excited about. But again, wouldn't really know that if we didn't spend some time to develop this out and figure out, okay, this is the direction we need to go. What do we need to do? Where do we need to spend money and invest? And what are the opportunities we need to look for?
Speaking of spending money, we spend a lot of money on just not only growing ourselves, but growing our company, growing our platform. And I think we're going to continue to do that this year to really create this business. It's like a varsity level business,
Yep.
put, we bought, um, we joined the 7-figure flipping mastermind altitude group, which wasn't cheap, but I think, we've found a lot of value in that so far, just with some of the people that we've gotten connected with, learning how to make this business a varsity level business. We spent money on a lot of things internally, our systems and our platforms, and trying to do some more marketing and lead generation. We just bought a CRM platform, really trying to kind of build that up and make it professional and automate things. So David and Stu can out of the business, be an owner of the business, put these systems and processes in place where we can really focus more on the bigger picture and that core focus that we talked about this year and the Stu and Dave VTO. But I'm really excited about that as well.
Yeah, man. Pump, dude. I think yeah, I think the point has been brought home. Spend some time on yourselves, developing and creating and developing the vision. Highlight the actionable items. Reach out, talk to people. Stu and I are always available. You reach out, we'll get you a Calendly link, and we can talk through some of these things, whatever they are. If it's talking about building a business, talking about Navy careers and doing side gigs and time management, all these different things. I encourage all our listeners, just reach out. Go find somebody who's doing it, who's trying to do it. Excuse me, and pick their brains and figure out where you want to be, who you want to be, and start yoking yourself to folks that are doing that stuff, because that's what Stu and I are doing, right? Those are some of the big action items this year. I don't even know where the checks that we're going to be writing this year are going to go and how much they're going to be for, but I guarantee you it's going to happen because we're dedicated to being better and growing this business, growing this brand, and ultimately there's people already doing that and they're crushing it, and I want to be like them from that in that aspect, right? I want to continue to grow and never settle, and which again is goes to our 10-year target or being change agents that never settle and always serve by focusing on impact through thought leadership platforms like podcasts, mastermind conferences, blogs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right? So that's written in our core focus, our 10-year targets, our vision, the VTO, the things that we do. And I'm going to start hanging this stuff around my, office, on my house, so that every day I look at it, I'm like, okay, maybe it's my background. Wow, my kids are my background on my screens because I need to focus on them too. Um, but places that it reminds us, okay, what I got to do today, what I got to do today. And it starts with, for me this year, what does my calendar look like? And what does my
Amen.
checkbook look like? And let's get after it.
Let's get after it.
Let's get after it.
One thing, I'd like to ask if, for those that are listening to this podcast, we love this platform and we've thoroughly enjoyed it. And Dave and I look forward to it every week of recording a call. And we have thoroughly enjoyed all of our guests that we've had so far. But we have a list of people that we would love to have on our podcast, but I know there's so many more people that would add value to this platform that we don't know. And so if there's any of our listeners that have an idea of someone that might fit really well in in this platform, in this podcast, to be a guest on it, we would absolutely 100% appreciate, you reaching out and maybe connecting us with some quality individuals, with some solid people that might fit well within this podcast. So, I think starting off this year, our ask is, if you know someone who would be a good guest on this podcast, let us know. Connect us. We want to connect with more people this year that can bring value to our network. So that's a big ask for us this year.
Yeah, and we love feedback. We value feedback, so please leave reviews. Give us, as Stu likes to say, 5 stars to him, 1 star to me, whatever it is. But we would love the feedback, right? We would love to know if there's things that we can do to improve. Please let us know. I mean, 2021 is a year, just like every year, just like every single day is an opportunity to get better, to grow, and to be our highest and best, or at least get closer to being our highest and best. So please let us know if there's something that constructive feedback. I guess constructive feedback. I'm having a hard time speaking today.
Yeah, you are.
Constructive feedback is key, and we would love it. So don't hesitate. We've got thick skin. Well, Stu's pretty sensitive. I've got thick skin. Just address it to me, and we'd love to implement some change and add the max value possible.
Yeah, if there's any like super professional podcasters out there that are just crushing it and that they want to just give us some free coaching, we'd love that too. If there's somebody out there that just want to spend their time,
those are usually the most professional ones, are the ones that are like, yeah, I'll just give you my time, for free. I just want to make you better.
They might just listen to this and be like, man, these guys suck. Like these, they need some serious help, and I'm just going to give my charity to them this year and help them out.
Yeah. So what Stu's saying is, if anybody out there is just listening and like, wow, these guys really, really suck, but I want to help them. Hey, man, we're open to that too.
Yeah, we're open to that too. We're open to that.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, this is fun. I'm super excited about 2021, brother. And really, I'm excited because we have a vision for where we want to go, who we want to be, the platforms we want to create, the businesses we want to build, and the opportunities that we want to present to others. And just super excited about it.
Yeah, man, for sure. Let's go crush 2021.
Crush it.
Crush it. So, hey, let's, if you know a guest that we need to have on our podcast, send it to us. Let us know. Please subscribe to this podcast. The more subscriptions we have, the faster this thing can grow and our listener base can grow. We have a goal. We have a number of listeners that we want to have for the end of this year. It's a big goal, but I think we can make it.
1 billion listeners.
1 billion listeners. So share this, screenshot it, share it to your social media platforms, tag us in it. It would be truly appreciated. Yeah, man, I'm gonna go hang out with my kids for a little while. I know your kids are up and running.
Go snuggle.
And most importantly, let's go fill our storehouse.
Let's make it a great day.
See ya.